Welcome back, everybody, to the show. Another week. We're really happy to have you with us. Today, we're going to talk about actor Jussie Smollett. We're going to talk about Obama's criticisms of rap and Hookstead's favorite topic in the world, Miracle on Ice. The anniversary is tomorrow. So let's get started. How are you guys? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Well, I'm actually doing terrible. I have intense jaw pain. It feels like I got my jaw unhinged, took a bullet to the face, but I'm still here because if I dip out, what type of message does that send to the guys in the trenches? So I'm here today with intense physical pain.
Exactly. All the troops in the trenches, thank you for setting that, that wonderful example.
You're welcome.
Hookstead, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of this is actually just in your head? Just curious.
If the sickness is in my head, I'm pretty open and honest about it, but my jaw for the last 4 days has actually been in insane pain.
What did you do? Did you get into a fist fight? Did you get into a bar fight or something? Or
No, I was just sitting there watching True Detective.
You tried to steal someone's fun little 7 at the bar, and
my jaw, it's just came out of nowhere, and ever since. So I probably should be at a hospital right now. But.
Okay, so for people who don't know David Hookstead, there is a little bit of a history here of him. I don't know how to say this. Maybe just
being a bit of a hypochondriac?
Maybe just a little bit, playing up his injuries. No.
It's not an injury. It's just a jaw issue. It's not like I got hurt playing football. My jaw hurts really badly.
But you're concerned it might be a tumor.
I'm not willing to rule anything out. But anyways, let's get into the big news of the day.
Right,
the
topics.
Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Is it Smollett or Smollett?
It's Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett?
Smollett, I think.
So this Empire actor,
yes,
Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett.
Yes,
Very French.
Our resident Haitian.
Oh, yes, that's me.
Is it Jussie Smollett?
No, I think it's Jussie Smollett.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if it's French. People keep saying that.
The good news is his name won't matter in prison, where he's likely headed if he gets convicted of the felony charge of disorderly conduct that includes filing a false police report. He staged maybe the dumbest fake hate crime in the history of hoaxes. It is unbelievable how stupid this guy allegedly is. Got to say allegedly, asterisk. How allegedly dumb he is.
Yeah.
But he's in deep shit. He's in big trouble.
So
it wasn't that bad hate crime. I feel like he made it almost a month. I feel like some of them fold in 2 weeks.
But they were waiting. But the reason it went so long is because the two brothers were in Africa for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
On a vacation, or?
It was all part of the scheme, I think. So they couldn't do anything until the brothers got back. And they knew, they said in the press conference today, the cops knew almost immediately who the brothers were. And they knew when their return ticket was. So they just kind of went along with the ruse, it sounds like, that whole time. But they also said they kind of knew right from the jump, pretty much immediately, that this was not what it was.
The police did. The
police
police
knew that this was not the version of events. Legit, yeah. So for those of you who don't know and have been living under a rock, he claimed 2 white supremacists shouted, "This is MAGA country," the N-word, punched him in the face, poured bleach on him, and put a rope around his neck. And in reality, it was his 2 buddies that he paid money to, and they did not know, apparently, that he was ever going to go to the police, which is why they're not in trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, so he must have...
So why did they think they were doing it?
They thought it was going to be a social media thing, I guess.
Like an exercise to improve his acting skills?
Well, no. That he was just going to, bitch and moan on social media, but not, actually file a police report.
Okay.
And so when he did that, the 2 brothers eventually flipped, and they're like, this guy is... Here's exactly what happened, step by step, and now he's in jail, awaiting trial.
What did he think was going to happen? You know what I mean? What was his end game?
He was going to get written off the show, allegedly, and he didn't want to, so he thought, I'll become this big, sympathetic character, and then they'll never get rid of me. Which is and he was pissed off they weren't paying him more money, so he thought if he upped his profile, he'd stay on the show, he'd get more money. It's literally the dumbest fucking line of logic I've ever seen in my life.
And he went on, what was it, ABC?
Good Morning America.
Good Morning America. And was crying on national television. And I mean...
The best line of that was when he was like, if only my attackers were Muslim or black. I feel like they were black. They were your 2 friends. They were your 2 friends. You knew they were black when you said that line.
Oh my gosh.
That interview is really messed up.
You were really fired up about this, Guillaume. You were really...
I was very upset.
Who?
At Smollett, just because, like, I don't know. I guess my first instinct was to be like sympathetic. So I was like it sounded weird, but I was like, all right, this dude got beat up, whatever. Like, we should find out who did it.
You believed him.
Yeah.
And now you realize you got taken to the cleaners.
He's betrayed my trust, and now I'll never trust another hate crime victim again.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Real hate crime victims are now going to be screwed because this idiot went out there and lied, and people believed him. They vouched for him, and he lied. So now what happens, it's like when a woman lies about getting raped, she's damaging actual rape victims.
Yeah.
He's damaging actual hate crime victims. This fucker needs to burn in prison for a substantial amount of time if he's found guilty. I got to keep saying that.
Right,
So that
you got to keep throwing that allegedly in.
Allegedly.
For his alleged crime.
And then maybe after he gets out of prison, they make him stand at the spot of the alleged crime with like a sign around his neck, and it says, "I faked a hate crime here." And then, just public shaming.
Actually, I think public shaming is a much more effective punishment.
Do you want to bring back the, what's the thing where you put your hands in your head through and people just throw tomatoes at you?
Is
that the gallows?
No,
that's where they hang you.
What
the
are those
stocks.
called? Yeah,
Yeah.
the stocks. The stocks.
That jaw pain's flaring up again.
You know what? In the age of social media, actually, public shame, criminal justice might be the most effective thing that we have. Just like embarrass you in public.
No one loves civil rights more than maybe the three of us do. So, so I am outraged that this guy took advantage. America is such a loving place that people believe this idiot with like no hesitation, because that's how open and accepting this country is. They just believe this clown, and he was banking on that. He honestly, I think, believed no one would like fact check him at all.
Yeah.
And if he could have gotten away with this so easily. All he would have had to have done was not file a police report, just bitch about it on Twitter, be like, oh no, like whatever, and then no one, once the police would not have gotten involved because he did not file a police report.
Yeah.
The mailing of the letter probably never gets investigated, but he couldn't do it, couldn't help himself, had to take it to the next level, and now his reward will likely be some steep time in a medium security prison in the state of Illinois.
I think this is totally unrelated to the validity of his crime and that issue, but honestly, I just find him so annoying. I was like listening to the interview and I was like, okay, like if this is real, I feel bad for him, but he's very annoying.
He sucks.
I don't know if that is bad, but yeah, I mean, you were really upset about this, though.
Because the worst part about this is because it was like it's just completely unnecessary. The dude's like not a famous actor, but he's on a successful TV show. Even if he was going to get written off, he had his own music career. Like, he was fine. This did not need to happen. He screwed himself for no reason.
Absolutely. Well, it goes to the ego, though. Some of these people, they just can't. It's like a drug addict. They just need it. They always need that next level of a fix. And he, for some reason, thought faking a hate crime and doing it in the dumbest way possible was the way to go.
So our next topic is Obama was meeting up with a basketball player, I think he is.
His name is Steph Curry. He's the what?
Oh, I didn't know those comments were made during a meeting with Steph Curry.
It's part of an organization or some program Obama has called, oh my God, My Brother's Keeper.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, and they were addressing, I think, were they addressing a crowd of students or
probably
who were
young
they addressing?
people. I doubt he was
Young
saying that to
people.
like old people.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know if they were there.
We learned that Obama is very anti-thought. He's not anti-thought, as in the thought police, but anti-thought.
THOT.
Like
Obama is based.
Yeah.
Obama is based.
That is the smartest. I have never agreed with Obama on anything more than the comments he made, which were, do you want to?
Actually, Guillaume, I think, pulled them up. Can you pull them up and read
got 'em
them?
Yeah, so the exact words verbatim are, if you are really confident about your financial situation, you're probably not going to be wearing an 8-pound chain around your neck. If you're very confident about your sexuality, you don't have to have 8 women around you twerking.
Fact check. True on all counts. Do you remember last week when we were in here?
Yeah.
And I was talking about like subtleties and the rancher lifestyle.
Yeah.
Obama must have been watching because then he went and said that. So
Okay, so I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here, just to keep things interesting. What if, in terms of like the gold chain, you just think it looks nice? Like, what if it's a stylistic
those chains
choice?
never look nice. No one thinks they look nice.
I mean,
That's not
they're
true.
glittery. Okay,
Some of them
okay.
look good. Wait, well, you're playing devil's advocate here. Why are you?
Exactly. I'm saying, all right, we have someone here who says they look nice. an aesthetic choice.
Black and gold, that's tight.
I
That's good.
myself am a fan of the 90s hip hop aesthetic. I like Run DMC a lot. You know, why not?
You might as well drive down the street and just throw money out the window of your car.
But what if you get them for a decent price and you're creating an
So
aesthetic?
you're wearing a fake gold chain.
Curating an
wearing a
image.
fake gold chain is worse than wearing a real gold chain, which is already really fucking stupid.
Well, no. Well, like, okay, it's not an absurd, like, it's not a giant gold chain.
Yeah,
it's just like a
tasteful.
normal.
If you have a
gold
very
chain.
tasteful small gold chain, maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not even sold on that.
I mean-
men should not be wearing jewelry.
Whoa.
Hold on.
What
hold on.
about
Expand.
They shouldn't be. They just shouldn't be.
at all?
No.
Ever.
No
No
earrings?
jewelry.
No, I don't like. No,
Nothing.
nothing.
You can't think of one single thing that a man might wear.
Well,
Jewelry.
a wedding. If you're gonna count a wedding ring, but that's not what I'm talking
Count
about.
a wedding ring. It's jewelry.
Okay, anything outside of that,
You can't think of anything else. Anything else?
no.
What about like a crucifix?
Okay,
Ooh, fair.
if there's a religious reason, I'll allow it. But if it's just to be flashy and show off the bling, that's no pass.
And
Hard
even
pass.
every once in a while, like not every day, but like, hey, maybe once a month, I just want to like show everybody that I'm better than them.
See,
What?
that's the issue though. You're not very. if that's the attitude, then you're not very confident in your situation.
All right, Mr. Rancher
I-
Lifestyle. So how
I
do you
know-
feel about rodeo belt buckles?
Rodeo belt buckles are first off. I have belt buckles like that.
Okay. So
they're
you-
fine. They're fine on a couple of occasions: weddings,
Okay.
funerals.
Okay, and so are gold chains.
Wait, that's it? A rodeo belt buckle?
Wait,
for
also, why
wear?
would you wear a rodeo belt buckle to
they're
a
not.
funeral?
Also, they're not really called rodeo belt buckles.
Okay,
belt
well-
buckles are, for those of you who don't know, I used to live in Montana. Montana has a lot of very rich ranchers in it. Cool guys. There's a great show called Yellowstone. You should watch it. Anyways,
Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner's in it. Kevin Costner's the man. Some might say that I and Kevin Costner have a lot of things in common, but that's a subject for another day. Point being, a belt buckle is important in this sense. It shows you, essentially, ranchers don't spend money on much. That's flashy,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So your belt buckle's something that if you want a really nice one, you want it super nice, maybe it has like your ranch crest in it or something, that's something you would wear to like a wedding.
Okay.
And then maybe a funeral. You wouldn't just wear it at the bar.
Well, the same thing ostensibly
But-
could be said for a rapper. You're from the hood, you don't have a lot, but you want to spend some money
ranchers
on
do
a
have a
nice
lot.
gold chain. But you're saying they don't spend a lot of money on a lot, so maybe, you don't spend a lot of money on a lot, but because you are interested in the artistic side of life, you get a nice gold chain, you wear it to fancy occasions. So
Okay, but they wear them all.
By your logic.
they wear them all the time. This is you're
That's not true.
creating a scenario that doesn't exist.
Okay, so your problem is with frequency, not the actual chain
I have
itself.
a problem with all of it, but I
I think this sounds a
have-
little racist.
I
He
spe-
likes flashy rodeo belt buckles, but not gold chains.
You think
smells a little suspicious
you
to me.
think cowboys can't be black?
Well, I'm just saying the majority of them are probably white.
Is Darius Rucker
Statistically,
the
I
black?
think the
What?
Is Darius Rucker the black country guy?
Yeah, but
The
he used
black
to be he used to be in Hootie and the Blowfish before that.
I love Hootie and the
Anyways,
Blowfish.
point being, look at the most successful people in this world.
Yeah.
And what do they dress like? They don't dress flashy. Mark Zuckerberg wears a hoodie. Bill Gates wears
What
like
about,
loafers.
what's his
Mark
name?
Zuckerberg is just a lame dude.
He is a lame dude. What about Richard Branson? He's got like the purple ascots and stuff.
Oh.
I dig that.
He's fly
I
as
love
hell.
that.
Wasn't it Jay-Z who said that the picture, there were the two pictures of him side by side, and one he's got all the gold on, and the other one he's older and he's just in like a long sleeve T-shirt.
Yeah.
And he said in one picture he was worth $1 million, and in the other picture he's worth like $500 million. You
Yeah.
can guess which is which.
Yeah.
And the point is, once he actually got rich, that shit all ended.
Okay, but I agree actually with Obama's statements here, but I just want to get to the root of why. Like, why is it?
It's a waste of money.
But what if you don't spend a lot of money on it?
Okay, then why even do it? The point you're trying to prove when you do it is that you have a lot of money. So if you don't spend a lot of money on it, you're not even fulfilling that point. So why are you doing it at all?
So you would be against like flashy displays of money in any context?
Pretty much, yeah. No, I'm a big believer in like silence is king.
So no belt buckles.
I personally, my belt buckles are not that expensive, but they exist because I actually need a belt buckle.
Yeah.
They're not They're not flashy at all. They're just like actual legitimate belt buckles.
Just belt buckles.
They were gifts from
Okay.
when I was in Montana.
Oh, a gift is a different story too. How do you feel about it if it's a gift from someone?
Totally different. That's
If it's a gold chain that's a gift from someone, how do you feel
I
about
wouldn't.
it?
Yeah, but would
I
you
wouldn't-
ever do
I
that?
wouldn't wear it. I mean, you might give your you might give your agent or something. You'd hook him up if he like made you a shitload of money. You might hook him up.
Or like a
I'd give him
family
something
friend.
no, I'd be like, hey, like I paid for a vacation for you to go. Like I would never be like, man, this person would really love a gold chain from me.
But
Wait, really? What if it's like been passed down through your family?
Then why am I giving it away?
Because maybe you have a child
That's a
and
good
you'd
point,
like to
G.
give them
That's
a family
good.
heirloom.
Yeah, to my
People
child.
Yeah, that's
people
within
pass
the
down
family.
jewelry all the time. That's a very regular practice.
Okay, but the example we were using was an agent. Like I would never give that away.
I don't
to
know
an
why
agent.
you would give your agent a present. I didn't say that.
Well, no, that happens. That happens all the time.
No, I'm sure you're
Agents
right. I'm
give
sure
their
you're right.
clients presents.
I'm
all the
sure
time.
you're right.
Here is the point. What's more impressive to you?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I need to buy something and wear it,
Mm-hmm.
even a nice watch. That's stupid. Another fucking waste of money. Or when you drive past where I live, and as far as your eye can see, that's my land.
Okay.
Which one? I don't have to say a single damn word.
But again, let me play devil's advocate here. When it comes to clothing and it comes to the way you dress, isn't quality worth something? Because the way you dress communicates things about you to other
Only
people.
if you're worried about what other people are going to think.
Well, but I think isn't it a certain level of courtesy that you want people to see you and know who you are? Like I dress the way I dress because I want people to know something about me when they see me. Like that's my courtesy. Is I'm saying, oh, like I'm not emo because my nails aren't painted black. You know what I mean? Like. Does that make any sense?
No. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I don't read all those books these days, but that went right over my head. No.
Your clothes communicate
You know
something
what?
about you to other people. So isn't it a certain
Let me tell you something I told someone the other night. Navy SEALs don't fight in tuxedos, do they? They fight in the dirt and the grime.
They fight, but
James Bond
they
does.
iron their uniforms. They keep them so
Not
they
their
don't
combat
have
ones,
they
they
don't
don't.
have holes in their uniforms. They
I'm
keep
sure
them
that they
in,
have some holes in their
they
combat
get
uniforms.
they get inspected. They have to
I'm
keep their
talk-
uniforms nice.
I'm talking about when the lights come on and the helicopters touch down at Bin Laden's compound. They ain't walking out in tuxedos.
But their shoes are laced up tight. Their hair is buzzed. Like there are regulations. I'm just saying
Navy
there's such
SEALs
thing as
have
like
long hair.
there's such thing as quality.
I don't give a shit about that. If I'm paying you, I really don't. If I'm paying you
Yeah.
to be a surgeon,
Yeah.
a quarterback,
Yeah.
a sniper, all I care about is when the lights come on,
Mm-hmm.
are you the best person for the job? And if the answer is yes, I don't care how you dress.
So what
at
if your
all.
clothes help communicate though that you are the best person for the job? Like what if this person wants to be a rapper, just to bring it back, and they're trying to say, look, I understand hip hop culture, I understand like the rapper
When
lifestyle.
I'm listening to a rapper on Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
what does what they're wearing matter?
But the whole career of a rapper is not just
Actually,
audio anymore.
I'm gonna refute this because
Okay.
it was revolutionary when Kanye decided to wear a pink polo instead of wearing like all the regular.
See? Boom.
Like when they moved off.
Kanye
Of,
is an anomaly
roasted.
for sure,
I don't
though.
think so. Not anymore. Are you guys familiar with I can't remember what his name is now. Rich Chiga, the debt stick guy, the Asian dude who was. No?
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you later. But he's also just like some tiny little Asian kid in a polo, and like everybody was super into that.
But that's not the norm. That's not the heritage of hip hop culture. It's definitely prevalent now more than ever, but it's not like the heritage of hip hop
But I'm
or
saying
rap.
it can be done. now.
I just
Yeah,
think
it
we
can be
just
done.
don't agree. Like,
Well, no,
you-
I actually do agree. I'm just for the
you're
sake
just
of
playing-
argument.
okay,
For the
well.
sake of argument, no, I absolutely agree. Fundamentally, I think style is important. I actually maybe disagree with you a little bit about that because I think the way that you present yourself tells people something about you, and I think that's a courtesy. Like I don't come to work with my hair like all knotted up and messy because like it's a courtesy to everybody around me that I try to make myself look more presentable like for them. Like it's a courtesy. But at the same time, I do think that it's so easy to attach way too much monetary value to your clothing that it becomes a little bit self-absorbed. I think a lot of people err on
what
that.
about his thoughts on thoughts?
Obama's thoughts on thoughts?
About people hoeing it up?
Do you think Obama is going to get a subtweet from Cardi B that's like, hey, dude, like, let me do me?
Yeah.
No, she
No?
won't.
With her
but-
twerk music video? No, she won't say anything. But I agree with him there,
I
too.
agree with him too. Like, look, I tell people this all the time, especially some of my
Mm-hmm.
closer male associates. Generally, the person.
Why did you say that so formally?
His closer male associates. Because
Generally-
his friendships are all contracts because he doesn't believe in love and genuine human interaction or affection. So
I would say if you asked me to make a list of my inner circle, there would probably only be about 5 or 6 people on that list. Like this is like the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the.
Mm-hmm. what does this
president.
have to do with women?
Well, women. No. Because you said friends and contracts
okay,
and that
okay.
stuff. God damn it! Now you just distracted me. Anyways, the guy who always talks about how much he gets laid, similar to the whole sex addict debate, I rarely believe what's coming out of his mouth. Rarely. And it's the same thing. It's like if you got 8 women twerking around you, you're trying to like signal, I guess, that like women like you. I don't really know, but it's like the guy who's like, oh, this sex story and that sex. Now, if it's a legitimate, funny story, that's how you can identify sex stories that are generally bullshit and ones that aren't. The ones that are real are generally the ones that are embarrassing for the person telling the story, and they're just getting a good laugh out of it.
Here's my question for you guys as men.
Yep.
I have two main questions. First question. Do you guys think that on the whole, women, the way they present themselves, the way they act in public, is it too sexualized now, or is it totally fine?
I think women my age are usually dressed like pretty well, but it's like I feel like it's really weird. But I was like a senior in college or something. I went to the Chipotle back in my like hometown, and there was like some girl who was clearly a high schooler that was wearing like shorts that were like way too short for her. And I was like,
With
this
her
is
ass
not
hanging out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
was like, this is like not okay. And like maybe that just
disgusting.
means that I grew up, because like I feel like as a teenager I'd be like, yeah, but
Girl butt. What do you think?
Do I think it's too sexualized? I mean,
I'm not placing any blame on men here either.
I'm 26 years old. I don't know what like 16-year-olds are up to these days. I
Okay,
know
but what
that,
about 26-year-old women?
No, I wouldn't say they're overly sexualized.
Okay.
I think that some of them are, but it all balances out because some of them aren't. I mean,
I'm just thinking like, okay, let's say you actually have a moral qualm with seeing like women in their underwear that aren't the woman like you're in a relationship with. Just like walk through the mall and like advertising and what people wear to the
that's
mall.
always been, but that's been the way for a long. The advertising stuff is not new.
advertising has always been edgy.
Advertising has always been edgy, but I think it's gotten edgier and edgier. And I just wonder, like, I just can't imagine how difficult, if you actually have a problem with, like, over-sexualization, how hard it would be to avoid that as a guy.
You just become Amish.
Yeah.
You just
easy.
become Amish.
I mean, I also think that, like, men, we don't see a picture of a woman in lingerie and, like, get erections. That's not how it works.
No,
Like,
no, but...
I can flip through a Victoria's Secret's catalog just fine. I'm not 12, so...
Yeah, but I just wonder how it changes the way guys look at girls because they see women, like, half naked so much more than they used to.
Okay.
With
so
Instagram,
The
too.
reverse is
understand
also
what you-
true.
I understand what you're saying, very much so. I think that, okay, so have you ever heard the argument that what separates modern day women, like women maybe 18 to like 30,
Mm-hmm.
have you heard the argument that they're the first group of women that grew up with like easily accessible like pornography?
No,
Like,
I haven't.
So men have always like had access to porn in like different mediums,
Form.
right?
Yeah.
But like, so men are wired to like be much more visual creatures, so they go search for that stuff.
Right, like
But-
Mark Wahlberg
right,
and Boogie Nights.
Right, but but women in like the 1990s weren't rushing out to buy Playboys, right?
Right.
But now they can just hop up on Pornhub if they want to.
Right.
And so the argument is,
Didn't they have a, what was it called? Penthouse?
Playgirl. They had Playgirl, didn't they?
That
but
lasted
it was like
for like a year.
Yeah.
So now, like, they've grown up watching pornography,
Mm-hmm.
and I do think that has changed some women because they, like some men do, think that's, like, real. Like, that's reflective of what reality is, and then they mirror their behavior. Like, this is what men must want.
It changes. Yeah, it's like I think a lot of women have a natural desire to want to be desirable. And I feel like they know men like pornography. Why did I say that so weird? And then they go to it as like a resource of like, oh, this is what I need to look like, or this is how I need to act. And
So that is what I'm saying as well. But I'm saying that I think there's some women who like watch porn and they're very sexual beings, and now they've grown up with pornography forever.
It
made them like
have
more
more of, like, a masculine,
aggressively outgoing sexually.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm
exactly.
not a scientist. I don't have an MD,
Right.
but I can tell you from women who have told me things along those lines that is a very real thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting too, because it's like if men were traditionally like the sexual aggressors, and suddenly now women are as well. It's like, I mean, the culture has to be more sexualized. It has to be. How can it be avoided? You know what I mean?
But we're all in agreement that Obama is very woke on sexuality, or the twerking angle of sexuality and fiscal responsibility.
Oh yes, the man is clearly in line with my parents on like all that shit.
Oh, he probably is with mine too. I mean, I guess I've never asked my parents. I know that their thoughts are on money. I don't know if I've ever asked their thoughts on twerking, but I'm sure it's similar.
You know what's interesting though is he said that, but at the same time he put out a list of like music things or music like songs that he liked from 2018.
His top album of the year or something?
Yeah. And there were like, I'm pretty sure there was a Cardi B song on there. I think there was like a Beyonce song there. I'm pretty sure Michelle Obama said Beyonce is a great role model for women, and that's exactly what they're going around doing. Is doing exactly what he's criticizing
Does Beyonce do that?
Beyonce absolutely is like very sexualized in her music.
But is she Cardi B level sexualized?
No, nobody is Cardi B level sexualized, but Beyonce is more than the average girl, I would say.
I feel like Beyonce is Gaga level. Like, I feel like all pop stars are like fairly sexual.
Exactly. But that's my point. Is like he's criticizing it here, but he's also supported it before. It's kind of a confusing message, I think.
Well, but then it goes back to that conversation where it's like the music is just separate from the music video. You know what I mean? But
if the lyrics themselves are very sexual, is it?
Well,
no. Then okay. If the lyrics themselves are sexual, then yes.
Yeah.
So
I guess, I mean, I agree with his most recent comment, but I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon too easily here.
You can print this out and put it on a poster. Quote, I agree with Barack Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have some glorious news for all of you. Tomorrow, or if you're watching this on tomorrow, today is the 39-year anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. And you know, as anyone who knows me knows, that is my favorite thing to talk about, short of the Bin Laden raid, in the entire world.
You've got two consecutive podcasts. You've made Miracle on Ice references.
And if I do 40 more, there'll be 40 more Miracle on Ice references. So
that movie actually is insanely quotable.
Oh, so quotable.
It's quotable.
The most quotable thing ever.
Like, my favorite thing, and I didn't even realize this until my husband Nick made me watch it again, and he's like, I feel like guys kind of naturally just recognize quotes in those kinds of movies better, but he started quoting all this stuff, and I love when he goes up and he's like, Jimmy Craig, what's up, you Civ? Like, I always want to say that to people. Like, I love that. It's such a good movie.
The speech that he gives before the game against the Soviet Union is chilling. I cannot watch it without getting chills. My dad can say that speech he can actually maybe say the whole movie word for word, but he can do the speech with the cadence and everything.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Hookstead, have you ever cried watching Miracle on Ice?
I have not cried when watching Miracle on Ice. I have not, but I've seen grown men cry when watching Miracle on Ice. So,
and by grown men, he means himself.
No.
I wouldn't blame you if you had.
It's chilling. Kurt Russell gave the performance of his career. It's
amazing.
So quotable. But let's not talk about the movie. Let's talk about the actual event. Because the
movie. Wait. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
The movie is based on the actual. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, in the movie, I have this unpopular opinion, but Herb's wife, I don't like her. Like, she really annoys me in the movie. Does anybody else get that?
Yeah. Well, the problem with.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Is it Pat?
Patty.
It's Patty, I think. Can you look it up?
But the problem with her is there's a line in the movie she says about how he never asked her if he should go coach the Olympic team.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. See, I guess he should have ran it by you first before he took the biggest job of his life.
Right, like he's trying to build a team from the ground up to compete with the best like hockey team in the history of the world.
He didn't just have to compete against the Soviet Union.
You worked a lot. Like, it's
he
so
had to
annoying.
compete against his own wife.
Yes, her name is Patty.
Patty.
Okay.
Like, I feel bad for her because I'm sure there were things like that probably was difficult. Probably a difficult situation to be in as a wife. But just the way they portrayed her in the movie, I was like, oh, this is awful.
I can run down.
You've never seen this movie.
It's on Netflix. Do you have Netflix? If you don't, you can use my login.
I do have Netflix.
And you can watch it immediately. It's just called Miracle. And it's awesome.
Okay. Hey,
you
Neil,
don't have to be a hockey
I'm going to be
fan.
busy for the next 2 hours. I'm going to be watching Miracle on Ice. So, thanks.
We should actually have like a slumber party and watch it because you don't have to be a hockey fan.
No, you don't. That's the thing. It's an American movie. It's about how cool America is. But anyways, in the real game in 1980, we smoked the juggernaut that was the Soviet Union's hockey team with a bunch of college kids led by Wisconsin native Mark Johnson. And Mark Johnson scored 2 goals in the Soviet Union game. He scored one with a second left in the first period that kind of set up everything else. If there was no Mark Johnson, there would have been no Miracle on Ice. And Mark Johnson is got to be in his late 60s now, maybe?
No, he's like an old man.
No. He's not in his late 60s.
That old.
He's probably about 60.
Oh, okay.
And he's a legend in Wisconsin. He might, short of Bo Ryan, Mark Johnson and Bo Ryan's the old basketball coach.
Does he have a parade? Mark Johnson parade in Wisconsin?
No, but they did retire his jersey the other day.
It's just a bunch of cheese rolling down the road.
I'm trying to think. There was some line I just said the other day to someone when I was angry at them, and it was from Miracle. They didn't know it though. Oh. But I got such a kick. I got such a kick out of the fact that I was able to work that in. It was awesome. But now
it probably just made your day.
It did make my day.
You know what? As good as the movie is, I actually think if you look up the YouTube clip of the original footage of
it's awesome.
It's like that is chilling.
Wait. Do you want me to do my Al Michaels impersonation?
Oh, please.
Let's see if I can get the transcript.
That's chilling though. It's funny
with
too
the jaw entry, so this might not be great because the jaw can't really hold.
He's gonna soldier on though.
Hold on, Al Michaels Miracle quote.
The thing too I love about Miracle is a lot of times men, maybe aren't willing to express their authentic, vulnerable feelings about things. They will for Miracle.
Oh,
they
my
absolutely
gosh.
will for Miracle.
Okay, so here I'll set the scene for you. There's this. So Al Michaels, the reason it's called Miracle is because he famously asked, as the clock ticked down, when it became clear we were going to beat the Soviet Union, that do you believe in miracles? But we have the puck, I think,
I'm getting chills right now.
we have the puck, I think, in the Soviet zone. No.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in the American zone. Mm-hmm. And there's Al Michaels and is on the mic. Mm-hmm. And the stadium, Lake Placid's going crazy, 8,000 seats, packed to the brim. Mm-hmm. No one thought we had a chance in hell. And Al Michaels, this is the famous 4 sentences that he said that forever. Was it immortalized that game? Is that what you'd say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. So right before this, he says, we're coming to you from Lake Placid. Okay. And the puck is coming around the back of the net. Just so you know, I can't see the video, but I can literally play out how this happens. I know. The puck comes around the back of the net, and this is what Al Michaels does. He goes, 11 seconds. You got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow, up to 6. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! And it's just, exuberant, and
That's
it goes wild.
Good.
Thank you. And if the jaw felt better, it would be.
I mean, that was pretty good, though. I even got a little bit of the blown-out audio that makes it very 80s. That was good.
There's another quote Herb Brooks gives in the game against Finland for the gold medal. People forget we had to beat Finland.
Right.
We're losing at the end of the first period. Mm-hmm. And Herb Brooks was known for just being a no-bullshit kind of guy.
Yeah.
Very, very Hookstead-like, many would say. and he walks into the locker room. They're losing, end of the first period. They just beat the Soviet Union. He looks at his players, and he says to them, if you lose this game, you will take it to your fucking grave. And he turns around and looks at him again as he's walking out of the locker room and says, your fucking grave. Walks out. We took the ice and we smoked them. Absolutely smoked them.
That's a coach. Man.
I remember the line.
Look at his eyes are just.
I remember the line.
Eyes light up like he's talking about
I remember
his
the
wife.
line when I was in an argument with someone. Mm-hmm. In the movie, Herb Brooks has the team skating mountain climbers, which is blue line back, red line back, blue line back. Yeah. It's like a punishment thing because they dicked around during a game and he got very upset.
It's like suicides on ice.
Yeah, very good. And
he's like, something about sports. And
he's like, you think you have enough talent to win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent. No, I just fucked that up. That's so embarrassing. He says, you think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Mm-hmm. And someone was really pissing me off the other day about shit. And I said that to him. I said, essentially, you think you can do what you want to do on God-given talent? You don't have enough talent to win to do it.
Hook said, you said that to me, like, in the first month that we met each other. And then I was like, are you saying I should run suicides?
He has that one scene alone has so many great moments where he looks at him, guys are like puking on the ice. And he's like, you think you can go to Norway and tie the Norwegian national team and go play in the Olympics? You got another thing coming again. And he just makes them skate. And then the doctor comes out and he's like, the rink manager wants to go. Clean the ice and go home. He says, leave him the keys. I'll lock up. Yeah, and he just has him going. That. And then Mike Eruzione shouts out. He shouts out his name. And Herb Brooks looks at him. He says, who do you play?
So good.
He's like, who do you play for? He says, I play for the United States of America. And Brooks looks at the whole team. Brooks looks at the whole team and says, that's all, gentlemen, and then just walks off.
They leave.
But now I'm just going down the list now. Remember then when he brings in, so for those of you who don't know, Brooks brought in a guy like 6 months into the training process just to fuck with everyone. And it was a former Minnesota guy. I think his name was Jimmy. And he's playing really well, and the team members get really pissed.
Yeah.
And they confront him one-on-one. And they're like, this ain't fair, bringing him in this late in the process.
Yeah.
And Brooks is like, I'll tell you what, that kid's got hands, he's got great vision, he can make the passes, he sees the ice, and I'll tell you what else he's got. He's got the attitude I want on and off the ice, so someone better be telling me, well, I shouldn't be giving him a hell of a look. And then Mark Johnson says to him, because we're a family, and Herb Brooks kind of like dawns on him, and he's like, that guy can help us win, but I'm going to send him home anyways. And it was kind of like this was the unifying moment.
I love at the end of the movie too. They have this little flash, and they're like, "Oh, you know, I keep calling him Herb. Sorry, Herb Brooks died before the movie was finished.
Shortly after principal photography had finished.
And so he never saw it.
He lived it.
And they were like, he lived it. It was like so. Oh, I love that movie. Honestly, the '80s were just like.
What is it? Do you remember what he says? Is the stadium is chanting USA, USA when he brings them all together right before the Soviet game?
No, I don't remember.
He says something. He says something along the lines of like, "You've earned." Like, do you hear that? You've earned this. But I mean, I could honestly do the whole miracle speech for you. I actually did the miracle speech in a bar with Richie once. And
I've heard about this.
What, you guys like climbed
you
on the bar?
Been there for that.
Was I?
It's when a certain person put like a 6-foot-long straw together and was trying to.
Wait,
you did the miracle speach there?
I want to hear this story.
Yeah.
I want to hear this story.
So I was in a bar.
Okay.
There were some people that you also know there. I got to be careful because they don't all work here, so I don't want to,
Right.
And I was telling people.
And a Canadian friend.
And a Canadian was also there. See, we're very diverse. We even like Canadians. And I was like, I can do the miracle speech. And they're like, no, you can't. No, you can't. And I was like, oh, you want to bet? And I did it pretty much just by memory. I think I might have screwed up one line.
Okay.
But, yeah, no, I could rip that.
Like you got on the bar and said it? Or just
no, I got everyone around.
Okay, then, people circled around you.
And then I did it.
It's a good moment. It's a good moment.
Yo, another great line from that movie. So we played the Soviet Union and got our asses kicked 2 weeks before the game in the exhibition.
Yep.
And Herb Brooks, he's walking out of the locker room, and Jimmy Craig, the goaltender, is sitting there at the door. And he says to him, I'm thinking about sitting you down. And then he just walks out. And Craig chases after him. And he's like, you can't do that.
I remember this.
You can't do that. That's my net. And what does Herb Brooks say back to him? He said, they just scored 10 goals. Right now it's everybody's net. I'm going to try to do the Herb Brooks speech without looking at my phone at all.
Guillaume's going to hum the national anthem.
Okay. He walks in. Herb Brooks walks in. He doesn't say anything right away. He kind of scans the room, gets to feel it. He says, great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight, gentlemen. That's what you've earned here tonight. If we played them 10 times, we might lose 9, but not tonight. Not this one. Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them. And tonight, we shut them down because we can. And here's where the music starts coming. It's real slow. It's like, tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. And then the music starts. Oh my God, I forgot the next line.
I'm dying to take this audio and like put it under a sports montage.
Oh yeah. So he says,
he goes, I messed up the line.
you were born to be hockey players, every one of you, and you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. I'm sick and tired about hearing what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is our time. Now go out there and take it. And then they all get up and they walk out. Okay, I got one more line, and then we can be done with the miracle stuff. Remember when McClanahan bruises his knee against the Swedes?
Yep.
And he comes in, and he asks the doctor, he's like, can he hurt it worse? He says, no, but it's going to be really painful if he tries to play. And Brooks comes in the locker room, and he's icing it down. He's got all his pads off. He's icing it down. And he says, put your pads back on. And then McClanahan tries to say something to him, like, No, doc says I'm hurt. He's like, yeah, I know, you got a bad bruise. And then he says, better yet, put your street clothes on because I got no time for quitters. And they get in each other's face. And he's like, you want me to play? And Brooks is like, I want you to be a hockey player. And the kid says, I am a hockey player. And he flips, and then Brooks flips the table. And he walks out of the locker room. He just turns to the assistant coach, and he just says, that ought to get him going. So
I remember that,
he just needed something to get on. And what they do, they played that game to a draw, I believe. But point being, I could do this all day. I could sit here all day and talk about Miracle.
Okay, so let's go 15 years down the road. You are president. I don't know who your VP is. Do you institute Miracle on Ice Day? Do you do
February 22nd would be a national holiday like that.
Yeah, do you do FDR's fireside chats where you spend an hour on the radio just quoting some stuff, some Miracle
I like where
quotes,
you're
get everybody hyped up?
I like where you're going with this. This is very good. This is very good.
Somebody said something to me that was really depressing once and about Miracle on Ice. And they were like, yeah, we get really excited about Miracle on Ice and it's the biggest deal to us. But to the Soviets, it was whatever. We lost 1 year and decade of wins.
Oh, no.
The
Soviets, that's not true. The Soviets took that loss, blew up their hockey program.
Did it really?
That loss changed hockey forever over there. They got rid of the coach. It's very likely they killed one of the players on that.
It's a very Soviet thing to do.
It's very believed they killed one of the players on that team for that loss, and his pregnant wife, I think, too.
Oh my gosh!
Oh
Are
yeah,
you serious?
the Soviets took that loss.
Wow.
There was a player who died shortly afterwards in a car accident, and I'm forgetting the details, but they cover it in the ESPN documentary. Oh my gosh. There's an ESPN doc about the Miracle on Ice. Look up ESPN 30 for 30 Miracle on Ice. It's told from the Soviet perspective.
That's interesting.
Of miracles and men.
And they don't outright say it, but it's highly hinted at that this dude...
Wow.
And he had I think, a big mistake during the game that cost them. And, and some of them threw their bronze medals in the garbage.
Whoa, that's hardcore. That's so Russian.
And then
look at Guillaume. He's like,
or maybe they might have gotten the silver. I forget, but they threw their medals in the garbage. And and then we started using pros. I don't think we've ever won a gold medal since.
I knew a girl that was Russian, and she played tennis, and then she quit, and I asked her why, and she said because her American coach didn't yell at her enough.
That is woke.
Yeah, it's really
hardcore.
So
this tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this, is one of my favorite days ever. And it always will be. And,
let's bring him a cake tomorrow. I feel like he needs a cake.
This is the only day. You can bring him a cake.
Hookstead does not frequently express genuine love for anything. Let's make sure we capitalize on this.
I also remember a line I said to someone in an argument. So remember when Eruzione, this was also very recently to someone who I was in a heated confrontation with. Remember when Eruzione misses the net in practice and he says something along the lines of, you better start putting the puck in the net or you won't be here? And then he kind of starts skating away and he looks back and he says, and don't think I won't do it. And I quoted that segment, again, to someone who had no idea what I was quoting, which makes it only that much funnier for me. That's how I argue. I take stuff so not seriously that when people are really angry and trying to argue with me, I just start quoting the movie Miracle when I know they don't realize they're getting fucked with. So... anyways, great show today. Maybe the best one ever. I don't know if we'll ever top that.
I think he's just happy because he got to talk about Miracle.
Clearly,
maybe we at least know that once a year we'll have an episode that will make Hookstead happy. It will warm his cold heart.
Amen. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.